Hello, hello. How are you all doing out there? It's Mistress Saoirse. I am the Ban Auntie of the Rebel Ma Rising Movement. I am daughter of Mary, granddaughter of Mary and Madeline, great granddaughter of Bay and Peggy and Maggie and Margaret. And I am mother, Rebel Ma, to Fia and Bodhi. And I am here today to hold the space for us all to start reclaiming our place as wise women in our lineages and to really, ignite the fire in our dreams and rekindle that creative spirit and rebellious nature that we have within to be able to go forth and keep holding the vision for the better world that we know is possible for ourselves and for our children. So I really just want to thank you all for taking the time today to be with me, for answering the call of the rebel matriarch within you, to be curious about what this journey might entail and how it might unfold and allow you to unfurl into more of who you really are. It's a joy and a gift for me to be able to sit here and share with you the words and the vision that is on my heart, and to be able to create and co-create that vision with so many other women who are heeding that call to step up and lean into our own inner healing and inner freedom, so that we can really, do the work that we need to do to be able to cultivate the medicine that wants to come true, to be able to feel safe to share our words, our wisdom, our stories, our traditions, and to be able to offer up our gifts in service to the collective, which is what it's all about. This is all about this Rebel Matriarch, the Rise of the Rebel Matriarch Leadership Summit, was created because, the women in the Rebel Mab books really want to share their stories and share their voices as an antidote to these really tough times that we're navigating on the planet, And when I had the idea to create this container and to share it, all of the Rebel Mas in our collective were so keen, so ready, and so willing to step up and lean into this, because they know that now is the time that we maybe have all been talking about. The Rebel Ma Rising movement has been talking about a time when feminine consciousness gets to return to our planet, which is the way it used to be for eons, when people lived in harmony and balance and sacred reciprocity with the energies on the planet and with each other, and with the goddess and Mother Earth was revered, and it was a beautiful time where everybody treated each other, equally and harmoniously, when they were led by the matriarchy, when women were at the center, and when mothers and children and life and earth came first. And, this is what we are here for. This is what at the Rebel Ma Rising Collective we are talking about and speaking into, is the fact that, the old world is collapsing, and this patriarchal colonial capitalist paradigm that came online, and that, severed our connection to the great mother and to the divine feminine within us and within the consciousness, and within the planet. We are here to remember that. We are here to help to reignite the fire in our bloodlines and to lead a shift in paradigms where we are able to return to the time of matriarchal leadership, when collaboration over competition, where it's like, interconnectedness, and it's just all the beautiful things, no hierarchy, but interconnected community, collaborating and co-creating and weaving a better world that we know is possible for our children. So I'm just really honored that, the women in the Rebel Ma Rising books that we created have said yes to showing up for the next week, for us to be able to share all of the wisdom that we have, to share our tools, our tricks, our tips, our resources, to be able to help us all navigate these times and remember more who we are. So, yeah, I'm really, really excited to have you all here. And I had some technical difficulties today, so I couldn't actually go live in the Facebook group, but it works out well because right now is the, the 11/11 portal. It is November the 11th, 2024. And it was this day 2 years ago that I first, read out loud and live my transmission, my Rebel Ma Manifesto for the first Rebel Ma Rising book. And that called in 26 women to write the stories with me of their own healing journey, of their own stories of reclamation. And that was the beginning of this movement where we're now over 60 women and 2 best-selling books and many international retreats and, a movement, a global movement of women who are really leading this new era of matriarchal leadership. And we want to share, as I said, everything that we have, everything that we have learned and everything that we have embodied on our journey to becoming the rebel matriarchs that we were born to be able to rise as the women and the mothers and the lovers and the leaders that the earth needs, because it's not always easy, this initiation to become more of who we are. There's many twists and turns and ebbs and flows and highs and lows on the journey of becoming as women, as mothers, especially. We've got so many challenges that we are facing, and day to day, it's not an easy world to live in, whether we are privileged to be in the safety and the security of the Western world, or, we are the mothers that are suffering and struggling with hearts broken and lands and lives and love stolen. It's a really difficult time on the planet. And one thing that I know for sure is that I have been rattled at many times, and I have felt so fucking full of despair and hopeless and helpless as to what I can do to be able to help the situations out there. And I just know that we cannot get lost in that vibration of fear, that we cannot let despair take over, that we cannot, allow ourselves to be frozen and frustration and helplessness and hopelessness, because the world is counting on us to be able to reawaken to the magic and power that we hold within, and to be able to hold the vision of this truer, more beautiful world, as I said, that we know is possible for ourselves and our children. And I really want to just start today by, offering up an invocation to be able to call in the divine feminine, because I know that many people actually, are still a little bit lost as to what the rising in the time of the feminine is, what the healing in the time of the feminine is, what the return to the matriarchy that I speak about is. And at the end of the day, this is where it's at. It's just connecting to creating the space and connecting to the ancestors and listening to the calls that are being asked of us. We are being asked to stop playing small and to answer the call that is on our hearts, and to wake up to the truth of who we are, and to be able to step up into our leadership and share our gifts and our medicine as service to raising the vibration for this journey of collective liberation. So I really hope that over the next week you get so many new tools to try on and to embody, that you get so many, aha moments and downloads and codes that are just for you to be able to receive, to be able to activate, initiate, and liberate you into more of who you truly are, so that you can join us on this journey of reigniting that power in your bloodline and leading that shift in paradigms that the world so desperately needs. So it's I don't take these times lightly, and I really, really am feeling, the collective heaviness and tiredness and hopelessness. And that's why we have come together in such a short space of time to be able to, lean into each other and create a web of interconnected care, where we are supporting mothers everywhere to rise and thrive and live their best lives in these genocidal and scary and crazy times. So I really would love to just, start by invoking the ancestors, because as I said, this came to me to create in a short space of time, and I thought, what the hell, there's not enough time to do this, to launch it on the 11th of November, which is the second birthday of the Rebel Ma Rising, the foundation of the Rebel Ma Rising movement. And then when I listened in and I asked the question, and the answer was yes, you can. You actually can do that. You can bend time, you can absolutely get people to, enroll in this vision. And when I leaned into, the guidance of the ancient matriarchy that I call upon to support me, they said, yes, do it. Now is the time to shine and to bring all of your gifts online and to share this medicine. And all of the Rebel Mas that joined me in writing my books were so super keen to also get involved, and they are all going to be showing up over the next week, pouring into you to help reactivate that fire in you. So if you would just join me in closing down your eyes and, imagining that we are sitting together. I have a candle light in here for the flame of the sacred feminine. And imagine that we are sitting around, a sacred fire. And we're holding hearts and hands, and we're feeling the heat of this fire on our skin and the tingles of anticipation as we revel in these stories and workshops and, panels of transformation and share in wisdom handed down through our lineages since the beginning of time, really. And taking a deep breath in as we call in the divine feminine, the inner knowing within each of us, the feminine wisdom, knowledge, power, softness, resilience, and strength. And we call the women who have gone before us, the mothers, the grandmothers, great grandmothers, wise women, storytellers, sisters, to be with us, to remind us to trust life, to trust the process, and to be the midwives of rebirth and recreation amid so much death, decay, and devastation. We call the ancient goddesses that women have called on forever, guardians of the gateways. We give thanks for answering our call. We give thanks for peace and love and joy and harmony and justice, for insight, for safety, for fun, and for freedom. And we hope and pray that everything we do today and over the course of this week together and every day for the rest of our lives really is in service to the safety, the healing, and the liberation of all beings. May the people of Palestine, Lebanon, Sudan, Congo, and beyond, all those experiencing genocide and violence from this patriarchal paradigm, be protected, safe, happy, and free. May our so-called leaders and the people of the world wake up from their slumber and the patriarchal spell they've been under and remember their humanity as one human family. May we remember who we are as wise women, wild women, matriarchs, and midwives, leading each other to the other side, the mother side, to what has been prophesied, the return to the time of the feminine, where we are leading from the front, rooted in love and compassion, together, the Ficha Fucha, interwoven, inextricably interconnected like a web of unbreakable, unshakable love and community care that reaches mothers and children everywhere. We are here to embody the archetype of the rebel matriarch so we can feel supported on our journey of understanding more of who we are and what we've got to offer, so we can share it from this empowered place and contribute to a much safer space for ourselves and for our children to grow and evolve in. We are here as the living embodiment of our ancestors, as the answer to our grandmother's prayers. So let's welcome in the old ancestors here, Falchin the Shin Shinsher. And we give thanks for your guidance. Thank you for tending to the fire of humanity since time immemorial. Thank you for rekindling the memory of our sacred ancestry inside our broken open hearts and illuminating the path of radical awakening in these times of grief, upheaval, and collective transformation. We feel your wisdom flowing through us, trusting we are co-creating with you and the divine as conduits of this new paradigm and sharing what's most meaningful to share for the highest good of all. We feel your call to step up into more of our sacred activism, to end oppressive systems once and for all and demand liberation for all. We give thanks for the strength and the bloom and the love and the blood of our lineages joining hands across land masses, from the sacred lands of Bali, where I stand, to the lands that were never ceded in so-called Australia, New Zealand, Samoa, the UK, Ireland, Turtle Island, Hawaii, Palestine, Lebanon, Morocco, and more. These are the lands where we are heeding the call because we know we are being asked to listen more clearly to the call that is ours to carry, and to support each other in carrying these soul callings forward in service to the evolution of our world. We belong to the land. We are children of the earth. We hear your call to fight for her and to fight for humanity through this collective rebirth. That is our invocation of the ancestors. And, just to really touch on what the rebel matriarch is, I wanted to share a poem and a transmission that I wrote when I was bringing the book together, when I was writing the chapter. The rebel matriarch is a change maker, a cycle breaker, a risk taker, a sacred disruptor, and a slayer of the status quo. She who knows and goes bravely in the direction of her dreams, even when it means dying to who she once was and saying goodbye to places, patrons, and people she loves. Shedding and shredding that which no longer serves her, unearthing, rebirthing, and rewriting her story. She sits in the shittiness. She shifts the suffering and sadness. She tunes in and listens. She's led by her deep, dark feminine wisdom. She makes intuitive, heart-centered decisions. She's unraveling thousands of years of patriarchal conditioning. She shatters outdated belief systems. She refuses to be defined by the past and is blazing a new path with no fucks given on her mission to do things different. She's okay with being misunderstood. She's destroyed the people pleaser within her for good. She won't be crushed by the weight of disappointment. She is her own self-soothing ointment. Reparenting, rewilding, reclaiming, recalibrating. She doesn't need to prove her worth. She's a sovereign being, an ancestor in training, a child of Mother Earth. Soft heart, strong back. She no longer comes from a place of lack. When standing in her truth, she doesn't hold back. She embraces her wild and restless messiness, owns her unique sensuality and sexiness, authentic and unapologetic in her self-expression, no longer contributing to her own self-silencing suppression. She's leaned in to the crevices of her soul, found grace in her grief and mind for the gold, alchemized diamonds from stones. She is the revolution, and she knows it's won in her open heart and loving home. Her pleasure is her birthright. Her peace is her offering. Her legacy is her awakening. Her awakening is her legacy. She remembers who she came here to be, for herself, her family, and humanity. She activates, she initiates, she liberates, she leads, she shines, she ignites. She's moved to the front lines of her life, no longer meek, pretty, pleasing, or polite. She is picking up her sword, becoming mother to this world, and fighting with all her might for what's right. Deeply grounded, like a great mother tree with roots deep and wise, she rises to the cries of the children and the earth in these bewildering times. So I ask you, can you feel her? Can you hear her? Can you ask her what it is that she wants you to do, what she needs from you to be able to come through you with the potent medicine that, she wants from you? Because Rebel Ma to me is a new and emerging archetype for the modern woman, as I said, who is feeling, healing, awakening, rising, and walking us home the new and ancient way. And archetypal energies, like feminine energies, they exist within the collective consciousness and within each of us. And by connecting to her spirit, we invoke her qualities and characteristics, empower ourselves, empower collaboration, and empower the rising of the feminine. And, when I really felt that call and connection to the Rebel Ma energy, it was a huge kind of undertaking for me to be able to get out of my own way and become the woman that I am today, to be able to hold this vision of the rebel matriarch, of the rise of the rebel matriarch, and to be able to hold the space for all of these women to find and tap into the rebel matriarch within them too. So when we do get these calls from spirit, from source, from ancestry, whatever it is that you want to call it, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It asks a lot of us, and it asks us to have the courage to lean into the unknown, to lean into the mystery, and to really allow ourselves to, shed and shred and die to who we once were, and die to all of the stories, all of the self-sabotage, all of the smallness, and to answer the call that is calling us forward into, more of our inner healing, inner freedom, more of our liberation to be the women that the earth needs. So when I first answered that call, it feels like I'm only coming out the other end of a 2 year like deep dark descent into the trenches of the underworld. And that's what can happen when we awaken to the feminine within us. We go on a descent rather than an ascension. We must go down, we must go down and go inwards and go deeper and really shed the layers, and the conditioning and all of the stories and the fears and the doubts and the things that are holding us back from the real truth of who we are. So, after going on that journey and really, facing off with the things that weren't serving me and really stepping into who I want to be, it has been an initiation of fire. I gave up my career in media and PR to answer this call. I moved countries. I moved to Bali with my young family. I, set up my own publishing house with a purpose. I put myself out there and called the women in to join me on the journey. And I've continuously had to, really look at who I am, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and who I'm being, more importantly, through the process of it all, And we're all learning and growing every day. And one of the biggest things for me was to really learn how to be with myself more gently, be with myself with more tenderness and love and reverence and care, and really be devoted to the feminine part of me, the woman who yearns to be seen and heard and loved and celebrated, and not by anybody else, but by myself, to really celebrate myself, to be proud of myself, to not look outside for validation, for, approval for anyone else, to really learn how to cultivate a sense of safety from within, and to feel resourced to be able to show up and lean into the challenges that were being asked of me to, I guess, to really continuously navigate life's challenges and the hard, icky, sticky parts and the lovely, joyful parts, and to be with all of it, and really at this time right now, when we are in a really painful portal and we are feeling so deeply the pain and the suffering of humanity, because if you're like me, you are feeling that, you are affected by it. It's activated deep trauma, ancestral and societal and physical within our bodies, within our psyches of, memories of being, for me, I'm an Irish woman, and our people were, annihilated. We were oppressed and suppressed, and we were starved, and we had forced famine and forced immigration and all the things. So, we know in our cellular memory what it's like to be those people who are being robbed of their birthright to live, to love, to laugh, to eat, to sleep in safety and peace, to birth, and to be able to hold their children and to be able to live a life, that they deserve, because they are worthy of it just as much as any of us are. So, when we go down the path of embodiment and healing, we do feel a lot more. And, for me, on my initiation journey to becoming more of who I am and stepping up into my sacred activism, which has been really ignited with this time of witnessing genocide in Palestine, you know, I've had to really face off with the shadow parts of myself that maybe are complicit in this colonial capitalist system, and to really look at my life and how I'm living, and whether I'm being in right relation with, you know, living on a land like Bali, where I am feel like sometimes I could be just another modern day colonizer, to be able to come into a sense of peace with where I'm at and what I'm offering and contributing to the community here, and how I am, you know, walking gently and being in right relation. And we get to all do that. We get to all kind of question where we are spending our money, where we are spending our time, who we are spending our time with, what we are spending our money on, where we are buying things, you know, boycotting, divesting, really holding people accountable who maybe aren't using their voices to elevate those who need us. And it's not about calling people out and shaming and blaming people in any way, but it's just about being discerning about who and how we're spending our time and energy, and what we're pouring and pumping ourselves into, so that, you know, we can actually divest from systems of oppression and things that are not serving the highest good of humanity. And that's how we make a difference, however small, you know, is to just really be more intentional about how we're showing up in the world, and where we're spending our money and time and resources. So I hope that throughout this week you can really learn some, you know, beautiful practical ways to support yourself, to continue to be an advocate and an ally for those who need us, and to be able to step into the rebel matriarch within you, so that you can, you know, show up in a way that feels good in whatever that might look like for you. And I'm really excited about this journey too, about all the incredible women that we're getting to share with you, about the wisdom that is going to be coming through, about, you know, and anyone who does buy, who hasn't bought our Rebel Ma Healing in the Time of the Feminine book, please do. You know, all of the proceeds go to the Middle East Children's Alliance, which is supporting families in Gaza on the ground, doing incredible life-saving work to be able to help feed and house and tent and support families who are really suffering right now. We've already, as a collective, raised over €1,000 for the Mecca Middle East Children's Alliance, and the more books that are bought, the more money we can raise and donate to Mecca, to be able to, you know, contribute in that meaningful way. So I'm really, really excited about this week, and I really, really welcome you all to, you know, get active in the Facebook group, to be able to share who you are, where you are, what you do, what's coming through, you know, if you're having any breakdowns or breakthroughs, to lean on the community in there and open up conversation and connection and intimacy, because that's what the feminine craves. She wants to be in community. She wants to be feeling connected. She wants to, you know that she's not alone, and that she's seen and safe and heard and witnessed. And that's how we shift paradigms, is to be, you know, healing the sister wounds that have been handed down through the patriarchal kind of invasion, when it severed us from the connection to the Great Mother, to each other, and to really start nurturing those relationships again, nurturing that trust and that safety with each other, nurturing our time and attention and intention with one another, and, you know, just supporting each other. So it's really a beautiful thing to be able to just lean into the community and show yourself and get involved. And I will be there too, to support you and to, you know, join in the conversation with you. And so will the other Rebel matriarchs who will be joining us over the next few days. So as I mentioned, we have had some technical difficulties. We are trying to figure out how to stream live into the Facebook group. And if that doesn't work, in the end, we will just send out the replays every day, and you will be able to listen to these beautiful transmissions in your own time. And they will be there for you as our beloved community to watch whenever you need to return to when you need any kind of inspiration or motivation to keep going and growing and flowing in these crazy times that we're living in. And, you know, hopefully they can inspire you to to keep leaning into the uncomfortable mystery, and to keep holding the vision for a better world for ourselves and our families and humanity. So I wanted to today bring you on a bit of a journey, an archetypal activation, just to help you feel connected to the archetypes, which, connecting and reclaiming the phases of the feminine is vital work, but it's not always an easy journey. And it can bring up quite a lot for us, because, there's beautiful sides to these phases, and then there's also shadow sides to these phases. So I'm going to bring you on a bit of an archetypal journey where we will activate these phases of the feminine within you. We'll call on some goddesses in the Irish wisdom tradition to support you. But, if you've got any other goddesses that really resonate with you, don't hesitate to call on them to bring them through. And, the intention of this activation is just to help you activate your voice, and to be able to feel safe to share your medicine and continue to show up for the world in the way that it needs us right now. So if you would like to, just close down your eyes again, and really just feel the earth beneath your feet. Taking a nice deep breath in, and just loud exhale. And just softening that space between your brow. Softening the cheeks and the mouth. Softening those shoulders away from the ears, softening the heart, the stories, and the fears, and just allowing yourself to be here now, no matter what has come before us. This is a time to give yourself permission to land here, to be here, to share with us this journey. So just imagining yourself now in a beautiful meadow full of flowers and daisies and whatever flowers come to mind for you that remind you of your childhood too. Breathing in and smelling those beautiful flowers in the air, feeling the tingle and anticipation on your skin. And as you look over to your right, you see a big, beautiful watering hole that looks so tempting and tantalizing. It looks so cool. And you walk towards it with the sun streaming down on your face, the warmth on your skin. And walking towards this beautiful watering hole, you jump in. And you feel this beautiful cleansing. It just washes away everything, all the debris from the day, anything that is holding you back from being here right now. Just let it all drift away in this beautiful, sacred watering hole of pure, holy water. And as you swim in this beautiful water, you see behind you a waterfall. And the waterfall is calling you forward, is calling you in, and you move towards the waterfall. And you go behind the waterfall into this magical portal. You know it's safe to go there. You know that you are safe to enter. And here we see a big, beautiful medicine wheel. And the medicine wheel has all the archetypes of the feminine that we will be moving through on this journey together. And as you move the medicine wheel around with a big, big turn, it comes to the beautiful east. And it turns to the direction of the east, which represents the element of air. And the east and the element of air is the sacred element of the maiden energy. And the maiden energy is where we connect back to our vitality, to our creativity, to our joyous, rebellious, spontaneous spirits. She is the one that we can call on to really support us, to breathe life and air and breath back into our weary, hearts, to give us that strength and that wind beneath our wings to fly in the direction of our dreams. The maiden is youthful. She is pregnant with possibility. She is so able to discern, what is necessary on her journey towards embracing this beautiful, amazing world that she is faced with. She's not scared. She is ready and willing and able to be the one that saves her. She's not waiting for anybody to save her. She is saving herself. She's not waiting for a prince to save her from the castle, in the old fairy tales where the maidens would be locked away in a castle and waiting for the prince to save her. No, she knows that no one is coming to save her, that she is going to save herself. So as we imagine ourselves, flying through the air, we call in the eagle as our spirit animal to guide us here. And we imagine our wings wide open, our heart busts wide open, our breath vital. We're not sweating the small stuff because we can see the bigger picture, and allowing the sacred air to blow away any stagnancy or density, and to keep moving forward in the direction of our dreams, receiving the spaciousness we need to get the guidance from the matriarchal leaders who are sending us the directions that we need to go in. And the energy of the maiden, she is just never going to get bogged down by the heaviness of the world. She treads lightly, but she cares deeply, and she remains optimistic, as I said, pregnant with possibility, holding the vision for the fairer, truer, more beautiful world that we know is possible for ourselves and for our children. And we call on Sheila Nagig here, who is the goddess of transformation, and she is the portal to the other world. She is the maiden era, connecting you to your sensuality and sovereignty. We get to call on her guidance to rekindle that rebellious spirit within us, that creative genius, and embrace the mess that wants to be birthed into life through us in Irish ancient times. And still now to this day, Sheila Nagig is placed upon the top of churches and places, and she is called for, the support in childbirth, because she holds that portal, that portal of transformation between her legs. She is the ultimate portal of transformation and transmutation and death and rebirth. So may you be enlivened by her life-giving powers of fertility and endless possibility. And so it is. Let us breathe into the energy of the maiden, breathe into her vitality, to her creativity, to her spontaneity and rebellious spirit. And so it is. And as we move from the east, we turn the medicine wheel to the south. And the south represents the element of fire, the element of transformation. And this is the place where we drop any of the shadows of the maiden, where we move from this deep-rooted, any kind of shadow sense of unworthiness, or a constant sense of danger, or a lack of self-trust, or maybe feeling loveless, hopeless, victim mentality, or that there's something wrong with me. We move from all of those fears of the maiden, and we move into the mother frequency, the energy of the mother, who is, life happens to the maiden, but life happens through the mother. And this kind of evolution, it really takes the death of one form of consciousness that allows us to birth another form of consciousness. And we really move into a sense of coming into our full bloom, our full moon, you know, where we get to enjoy rather than endure this mother summer season of our lives and rise and thrive, as I said, and live our best lives. So just really imagining this element of fire. And the spirit animal we call on here is the great serpent, this beautiful snake that is so close to the earth, belly to belly with the earth. And the great serpent and the element of fire, it shows us it's okay to shed our skin, to die to who we once were, and to move through the portal of death and rebirth, to be reborn again and again. We move through the rite of passage from maiden to mother. And as I said, she knows no one is coming to save her. She is the one she's been waiting for. In mother, we tend to our wounds and we act with courage and beauty. Nearly everything but the soul must die and shed to move into the archetypal mother. Relationships, jobs, any old ways stemming from patriarchal consciousness. The mother energy and archetype radiates joy and nurtures growth. She is the only force powerful enough to navigate unborn spirits onto this earth. She is the only one devoted enough and compassionate enough to birth a safer, fairer, freer earth that our children are trusting in us to birth. The self-actualized mother is healing lifetimes and lineages of shame, of suffering, of separation. So our children's roots stem from solid foundations, and we are no longer prepared to do things out of obligation. We do things because we desire to be the women to rise and to thrive. And here we evoke the goddess Bridget to sit with us around this fire of transformation, to help us burn away limitations and ignite the flame of creation from deep within our wombs, reminding us of the power that we have to not only conceive, but create, gestate, and birth not only babies, but ourselves, our businesses, our dreams, our ideas. Bridget is the triple goddess of poetry, smithwork, and healing in the Celtic mythology, wisdom, and traditions. She is an alchemist. We can call on her to transform our wounds into wisdom and our pain into our purpose, so that we can learn how to mother ourselves and mother each other, mother the world, not just our families, but humanity. So breathing into the beautiful element and energy, archetypal energy of the mother frequency, and embodying her and what she means for you. And then we move the medicine wheel around to the west. And the west is the element of water. And again, this is a beautiful time to remember, you know, with the mother and the shadow side of the mother, she can be the mother martyr. She can be the one that puts everybody else before her. And we don't want to come from that energy of depletion, of being a savior, of being a martyr. We want to be able to, you know, step up and hold space for ourselves, nurture and nourish ourselves, and give from a cup that is overflowing rather than a cup that is depleted, and a body that is overwhelmed and overstretched. So in Wounded Mother, we can only try to survive in the waves, but in the Wild Woman, which is what we are envisioning and welcoming in with the West, is when we become the ocean. The wild woman reclaims what has been stolen, like the Selkie and that beautiful story of the Selkie woman who, you know, loses her skin and goes out into the world and becomes something that she is not, and gets tired and depleted and loses her sparkle and loses her joy and loses her connection to herself. And she unwillingly sacrificed herself in service to others as a mother martyr. So in this wild woman archetype, we reclaim anything that swayed us from our authentic path or led us to losing faith in ourselves, in our journeys, led us to losing our way and to reclaim our skin and to put it back on and feel good again. So the fierce mother love and protection of the wolf mother. This is the beautiful energy and spirit animal that we get to call in for the wild woman, you know. The wolf mother, she is the leader of her pack and she protects her cubs at all costs. Wolves walk their own path, supported by the incredible gift of their super senses. And they gave us the courage to keep connecting to our intuition and our inner knowing and to move through our fears and keep choosing love for ourselves, our children, and all children. The wild woman is deeply connected and guided by nature. She walks her own path while guiding and protecting those who need her. She has a do not give a fuck attitude. She doesn't wait for anyone's permission, no need for validation. And as the saying goes, within every woman there is a wild and natural creature, a powerful force filled with good instinct, passionate and creative. Her name is Wild Woman. She is ageless and ancient, but also an endangered species. So we call on the goddess Bowen here, who is the liberator of wisdom, to really evoke that wild woman within. And the goddess Bowen, she defied her husband Necton to approach the well of wisdom, where she was forbidden from going. And when the waves gushed up and the water gushed up from the well, it swallowed her whole, and she became the water and allowed the well's mystical imbas wisdom that illuminates to flow and reach all those who need it. So she freed the well of water from the clutches of the patriarchal control, and she allowed that water and that well to reach all of those that needed it with her beautiful courage to defy the rules, to defy control. So, with her wisdom and guidance, we can be courageous in embodying our own wisdom of the wild woman and share our gifts and our voices in service to others. Because the wild woman, the Bowen goddess, embodies autonomy and courage and lifts us unconditionally up with connection and nature and love. We are not on our own. So breathing into this beautiful wild woman energy and the element of water that reminds us to trust and surrender and remember that we are not powerless, that we were born for this, and that we can move through the obstacles with ease and grace and flow. And we can be ferocious. We can lose our way and we can find ourselves again, navigating the storms, but always finding our way home. So don't ever forget that as we breathe in to the wild woman energy and the element of water. And then we move the medicine wheel around to the north. And the north represents the element of earth. And the earth reminds us that we do have the strength of 3,000 ancestors behind us. Like we are like great mother trees that with roots that run deep and wise, and we can rise to the cries of the children and the earth in these bewildering genocidal times. We can do what we can to make a difference in our own little locality, in our own little community, activating our voice and our gifts as medicine for these times that we are living in. And with the earth medicine, we call on the wise woman. We give thanks to our grandmothers and grandfathers and ancient ancestors, and honoring all those who came before us and all those who will come after us. We are ancestors in training of future generations. The wise woman is the ultimate mother. She possesses a power like no other. This is not when our power ends, when we enter into the wise woman archetype, when we do move from maiden to mother to crone, and we get a little bit older and we have a little few lines going on, and we have a little bit more jiggle jaggle around our bellies and our bums. But it's not when our power ends, but when it truly begins. The wise woman is not afraid to bear her true self. She is free from past pain. She has composted her shame and transmuted it from the darkness into the light. She is the whispers calling you forward into the unknown, deep in the knowing that you are who, what, and where you are supposed to be. And you are supported by the ancestors, by the angels, by humanity. The wise woman's beauty needs no mirror for validation. Beauty is self-reliance, creativity, intuition, resilience, grace, authenticity, compassion, imagination, service, humor, and vulnerability. Coupled with strength, her soul, her truth, and her gifts illuminates from the inside out. There is no better beauty serum than truth. And this is what the wise woman knows. She wants less, not more. She remembers who she is and what she's here for. She's aging, raging, saging, and misbehaving. She stays young at heart, but rises into her maturity. And she loves the skin that she's in. Breathing into the beautiful energy and archetype of the wise woman. And we call on the great mother Danu, the goddess of Ireland here, to really support us in embodying the wise woman energy. The goddess Danu was she was the mother of the Tuatha Dé Danann, who were the ancient godlike supernatural tribes of ancient Irish times, and they all lived in harmony. They were all connected to their dawn, their souls calling. They lived in a time where, whether it was warriorship or healing or smith work or herbalism or medicine women, they were all connected to their dawn, their soul gifts, their soul calling, the poetry that spoke from within them. And they were so connected to it. They shared it so freely with society, with the community. Everybody was just shining and illuminating in the light of their dawn, and they shared it with others. And this was a great time of thriving on our little island nation, when for eons they just lived in so much beauty and harmony and balance and reciprocity with the land. And this is the times that we want to return to. These are the kind of times that we are calling in to embody now, by sharing our medicine, by owning our dawn, by sharing it in service to the collective. So we call on the great Mother Danu to help us to activate our dawn from within so we can illuminate. And that is what we are doing here over this next week together. So breathing into the beautiful element of earth, to the wise woman within us, activating her strength and resilience and her infinite wisdom to help us to continue to do the healing we need to do to be able to shine in the light of our dawn too. And last but not least, we move to the element of ether, which is the space in between. It's a really beautiful element that we can connect to in meditation and visualization. We can access it when we're creating art or when we're making love. It's a beautiful, beautiful element. And here we can imagine the dragonfly as our spirit animal, just fluttering its wings and guiding us in the direction of our dreams. And as we see this beautiful dragonfly, we follow it as it moves from the back of the waterfall towards this cave over yonder in the mountain. And as we walk towards the cave, we walk into the entrance of the cave like we are walking into the entrance of our ear. And we follow this beautiful dragonfly down our ear and into our heads and down our bodies, down into our own womb cave. We are in the darkness of the womb cave right now. And here we are greeted by the 13 grandmothers in the belly of the earth, and they are so happy to see you. Oh my, they've been waiting for you to remember who you are, to come and to see them and to seek solace, like at the oracle in her cave. The 13 grandmothers are here to rever you, to fill you up with encouragement and love. And as you walk towards these beautiful grandmothers, they form a circle around you. And you sit on a throne in the middle of them, and they all bow down to you. They are all so, so happy that you've come here, that you've remembered who you are and what you've got to offer. And you sit on your throne as a queen of creation and imagining now what you look like in your element here. How does it feel to be a rebel matriarch to you? What are you wearing? How do you speak to yourself? How do you move through the world? What do you feel on the daily? What lights you up and brings you joy and turns you on with pleasure? Can you feel the tingling sensation, the Kundalini energy as you breathe in through the Mula Bandha, sucking up like a straw? And surrendering into the throne beneath you, knowing that the guidance of the ancestors and your lineage comes before you, surrounding you, filling you up with what you need, the strength that you need to continue to move in the direction of your dreams. And really just feeling into who it is that you wish to be. What are the qualities that you wish to embody? If there's any leader, feminine leader or person in your life, in your world that really you admire, that you look up to, that you really love who she is and what she does in the world, just imagining what those qualities are. It might be a person, it might be a goddess, it might be a political figure, it might be an ancient feminine figure from the past. Whatever it is, whoever she is, just imagining who that might be. And just really just breathing in those qualities. You know, taking in the essence, power, joy, serenity, sensuality, courage, presence, resilience. What does she radiate? What is her texture? Just feeling into that right now, this rebel matriarch within you, the qualities that you wish to embody. And just allowing that energy to seep into your cells. And knowing that you are her, that you already are her, that you get to be her and continuously become her. You are your own oracle in your own cave. You have got the wisdom of 3,000 ancestors behind you. You have the lineage of women since time immemorial inside you. You have been in every womb going back to the beginning of time. You actually were in your mother's womb when she was in her mother's womb. So that's the kind of connection you have to the red thread in your family, in your life. And if you can imagine all of those long line of women who came before you, and yes, there might have been trauma, there might have been pain, there might have been suffering, but there was also a lot of love, a lot of medicine, a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, a lot of joy. You know, just tapping into the strength of the bone and the love and the blood of your lineage, of all of the people it's taken to get you to be here today, standing in your own way, speaking your truth, setting yourself free. And when we free ourselves, we have a duty to then free another. That's what we're here for. So just maybe thinking about yourself here as that oracle within. She lives in her cave and she doesn't go looking to project onto people. People come to her for her wisdom. People go on pilgrimages to go to find the wise, wild woman in her cave. And just knowing that you are your own oracle. Accessing your own wisdom now. You have all the answers within. You are your greatest source of wisdom. Asking the inner oracle inside you if there's anything that you need to know, if there's any blocks that you have not been able to see, if there's any wisdom that she wants to share with you so you can move forward more fluidly, more peacefully, more easily in the world. And just really listening for her wisdom, for her answers. Ask her to help you. Ask her to guide you. Ask her to help you remember her and continuously come back to her over and over again when you need direction. And just really allowing yourself to sit in this circle with all of these 13 women around you who believe in you and trust in you to hold the torch and illuminate the way to a brighter day with the light of your own dawn shining through you. Allowing yourself to step into the power, the beauty, the tenderness, softness, the strength that is within you. And really just taking that torch from them and knowing you are the torch bearer now, that you are the flame, the feminine flame that is continuing this long legacy. But we're doing things differently. We're walking each other home the new and the ancient way. We're calling on their support and their guidance, but sometimes, they don't know. They have no idea the opportunities, the challenges, the situations that we have available to us. I mean, some of the things that we can do now is beyond their wildest dreams. So just letting them know that you are honoring their memory and you're calling on their support and strength and guidance, but you're also doing life in your way. And you won't feel bound to old ways. You won't feel limited to who you can be and what you can do and how you can go forth and set the world on fire with your desires, that you have the ability to live a life led by your desires that they might never have had access to, but you as the embodiment of them, as the living, breathing hands and ears and mouth and heart and taste and touch, you can. And you're doing it not only for yourself, but for them. You're sending a healing back all the way back through the red thread. And you're blazing trails and new ways for the next generations to be able to live more freely, to be able to know themselves more deeply, and to be able to enjoy rather than endure the journey. And just really tapping in again, bowing down to yourself here. And just knowing that these gifts within you, this dawn that is activated within you, your soul's calling, your soul's purpose, it's what you were born to be and do. You don't need to make it complicated. You just need to shine in the essence of you. Remembering who you were before society or trauma or wounds told you who you needed to be. And to commit today to doing whatever healing is necessary to be able to feel safe to express your dawn, to be able to feel safe to share your magic as a matriarchal medicine carrier who was born for these times. And to just allow yourself to share what's on your heart as your contribution to these times. And just bowing down to the oracle within you and all of the ancestors around you, thanking your life for all the lessons and blessings of your becoming, for all of the things that have happened to you, through you, for you, to be able to be here today, standing in this way with all of the wisdom that you've got to share, that everything that has taken place before this moment was exactly what needed to happen so that you could be who you are so that you could be here, connected to your dawn, your soul calling, and feeling so confident to share that as an offering to the world. This is your initiation into your own rebel matriarchy. And I really hope that you enjoy the journey, bowing down to yourself, bowing down to the teachers that came before us, taking a deep breath into the rebel matriarch and knowing that she is here for you anytime you need her. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful journey and just really wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, coming back to this room, coming back to this moment, maybe bringing your hands to your body, to your womb space, giving yourself a little feel. Maybe opening those hands wide, breathing in. And then bringing those hands in for a little hug. I wish I could give every single one of you a hug that's watching here today. But thank you for joining me on this beautiful journey. Opening your eyes now and just allowing yourself some space to drink some water, to journal, to dance and move that activation into your body. Be kind to yourself today and know that this is always available for you anytime you want to come back to embody the archetypes and reclaim the ancient phases of the feminine. I love you all, and I look forward to seeing you throughout this week. We'll be back in later on with some more juicy panels and workshops and igniting the flame of the maiden. So we'll be delving deeper into her today. You just got a taste of her, but now is our time to play. So see you later.